Hello my friends, today we're talking about how to progress through the early wipe somewhat efficiently. Maybe your first wipe, your second or third, it doesn't really matter. There's something here for everyone, for beginners and more experienced players to cruise through the early stages of the wipe with ease. So let's get right in there. Very first thing I do when I launch the game is I go to the traders, I inspect all the items I can to reach level 2. Which is, I believe, 1000 XP. I am not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But once I do reach level 2, I go to my dear friend Mechanic for introduction quest to unlock a Jaeger. Once that is complete, some of you probably already know that you can buy the MP133 shotguns for the quest called Debut from Prepper, which also includes killing 5 scavs and customs. But sometimes it's a pain in the ass trying to find these MP133 shotguns, so it's easier to just do the quest from Mechanic, unlock Jaeger, and then just hand them in that way, because they do not have to be found in raid. Important thing for when you're doing quests is trying to be efficient, and the main thing for efficiency or questing efficiently is to avoid doing quests that don't lead anywhere or don't lead to any other quests. For example, search mission, you have to find the USEC camp and the convoy in the woods, or shootout picnic where you have to kill 15 scavs on the woods. They do not lead anywhere, but they will take a few raids most likely to complete. So instead of doing that, you could wait until you're at Punisher Part 4 and essentially do 3 tasks at the same time. You can look for the convoy and the USEC camp and kill the scavs at the same time, you know, because otherwise you'll be doing 2 raids here to complete this task, 2 raids to complete the other task, and then another 2 raids to complete this task. But instead you could do 2 raids to complete 3 tasks, if you know what I mean. Also, when questing, dailies and weeklies can be your best friend or your enemy. When it comes to certain quests, for example, you have to find an M4A1 in raid. Is it really worth to go and look for those M4A1s early game when you could be doing the main quest line? Not really. Do not try and go out of your way to do those dailies early, because it's just not worth it. You're wasting your time when you could be doing the main quest line and gaining much more experience and going through the early wipe much faster. Instead, just try and combine them if you can. For example, scav kills on customs or something, you know. If you're gonna go customs, you have to look for a certain item, for example, and you're gonna be killing scavs on your way anyway. Those type of dailies are very good to pair up, and those are the ones you should look for. You can't accept them all, obviously, but now there's option to replace them, which I think for certain ones you should definitely use that opportunity to replace the quest and try and get a better one to pair up with your dailies, or sorry, not your dailies, your main quest line. Also, a great tool is tarkovtracker.io. Link in the description, by the way. You can log in here. You can go to quest tab, for example. You can see, you can mark, first of all, you can mark the quests you have done. So for example, let's say you complete Debut, mark it as complete. You come here, what else? Find 3 deliveries, you've done it, complete. And it shows you progressively what's next and what's to come and what you may need. So for example, you see here level 6, you may need a dorm 206 key for customs. It's a great tool to see what's coming, but also even better function for this website, in my opinion, is the needed items. So once it loads, for example, you can mark, let's say you find 3 power cords in a raid. You go power cord here, you see, okay, so I need 4 farming part 2, I need 2 power cords, so you mark them, so that's done. And nutrition unit level 1, so that's done. And then once you check this here, obtained, they don't show up anymore, so you know how many of every certain item you need. So obviously intelligence center level 2, you're not gonna have that anytime soon, I'm guessing, in the early stages of the wipe. But it's a great tool to see what's coming and what items you may want to keep. It's also the same with quest items. For example, if you find the Taz, it's the first thing that pops into my mind. So you find a Taz, you mark it complete, and you don't have to worry about this anymore. So it's a great tool. Link in the description. Definitely use it. It's a very good tool to keep track of the items you have and the quests if you wish. Also, before we move on, I would like to invite you to check out my Twitch channel. I stream every Monday to Friday, roughly 1 PM Eastern European time. twitch.tv/FliNN link is in the description. Thank you very much. Let's move on. So, where do you want to go on your very first few raids? I personally would advise against going customs the first few raids. Instead, I'm gonna go woods, which is also, let's be honest, it's gonna be contested a little bit because of the Jaeger task, but it's gonna be much more calmer than the customs. And then I'm gonna go woods. I'm gonna unlock Jaeger. After that, I'm gonna go interchange, get us some quest items and items to upgrade my workbench. For example, last wipe it took me ages to find 3 gas analyzers for therapist. I eventually found them on interchange. So I'm most likely gonna go around interchange during the early stages of the wipe. Get myself some of those quest items, some of those hideout items, so I don't have to go ball trying to find gas analyzers again. Also, if you don't know certain maps very well, you can always use Map Genie. Highly recommend. It's a great tool. You can look up loot spots or extracts or stashes or where certain keys spawn, for example. It's a great tool. I highly recommend. Once again, that link is in the description. Look it up. So how do you level up faster? A big chunk of your XP comes from quests. Early on, most of it comes from the raids though. So long story short, the more you survive, the more experience you get, because if you do survive a raid or you extract, the experience is multiplied by 1.3. So exploring, looting, and healing all give you experience, just like killing scavs and PMCs and bosses. But the main thing is, if you do go for those kills, you should always try and go for the headshots because it gives you bonus experience, and obviously it adds up in the long run, which makes the 1.3x multiplier even better. I know all of that sounds great on paper, you know, going for the headshots and getting all the kills, but I personally will try and avoid PvP as much as possible until I'm like level 42 and I've unlocked all the traders. It's just not worth risking the quest items and the potential XP gains, especially on the very first day or two, or very first week even, just to get yourself a pack armor and an M4 build. So try and keep your quest items, keep your flash drives, gas analyzers, even whatever your hideout items are, whatever you have on you, just keep them. Pick your fights carefully. Focus on surviving, because the more you survive, the more experience you gain in the long run. Also, don't be afraid to leave a raid early. You don't have some sort of necessity, or you shouldn't have a necessity to try and survive for the whole duration of the raid. Also, a quick tip is, if you do happen to die, or if you extract from the raid with, I don't know, a few blacked out limbs or something, is do not actually pay for the therapist to heal you. Instead, use your own. Let's say if you have a grizzly or you have a few cheeses laying around, use those yourself instead, and you gain extra experience. I think it's, I might be wrong, maybe 1 experience per 10 health. I'm not sure. I'll put it up on the screen, you'll see it for yourself. I might be wrong there, but it also adds up in the long run, and you'll get some pretty good experience, especially if you do happen to die, which we're all gonna die. It's inevitable. So heal yourself in the stash and you get some extra experience. When should you do scav runs? So scav runs, they can be your best friend if you're a new player. If you're still learning the ropes, it's a great tool to learn new maps, get some gear if you're running low. Highly recommend using a scav as a new player. Even if you don't feel like using it, you can just load into factory, extract immediately, maybe loot a body or 2 on your way out, get yourself some free merchandise to sell to the traders, or just for your own use. It's overall very good. Like I said, especially learning the maps that you haven't played. If you have a quest coming up, you have to go shoreline, for example, you never played shoreline, just take out your scav, run through it a little bit, try and find that extract, use mapgenie.com. I think I mentioned it already, the link is in the description. Look up your extracts and just run through it, and it's a great tool overall. I highly recommend it if you're a new player. Why do I avoid doing scav runs? I personally don't run scavs too often, especially after the early stages of the wipe. I want to get myself to level 42 as fast as possible, and spending my time as a scav is a waste of time because I do not gain any skills or experience for my PMC. I already know the map, so I don't need to really learn anything. But when I was still learning the ropes, I used to run scavs all the time. Every time it comes up and it's available, I would run it. Get my free gear, try and look for those key cards. I used to sell them because I didn't go labs, so I was very scared. But You can get key cards and stuff, so I highly recommend you try and run those, but that's the reason I don't run them. Early game keys. You should try and loot jackets and filing cabinets for keys as much as possible. I plan on doing a jacket/cabinets run for customs next, so look out for that. But as you find keys, they have no idea what they unlock. Because even I've played for 1500 hours. I still find a customs key and I scratch my head because I don't know what they unlock, because I just can't remember. Small brain and all that, you know how it goes. But what you can do is you shove them in your prison pocket. After raid, you go to the EFT wiki. You'll figure out if you want to keep it or not. If you find a key that is for a certain quest down the line, you probably want to keep it, right? But if you find a key that has no quest locked behind it, nor does it have any decent loot crates or safes, for example, you just want to sell it to the trader. It just takes space and it's worthless. So essentially you won't need it, and after a while when you keep finding the same keys over and over again, you'll have the mental note and you'll know that it's garbage. You can just leave them behind. Some of them are not even worth more than 2k rubles, for example, so don't even bother with those. And like I said, all the links that I've mentioned here today are in the description. All the important little websites, you want to check them out. As some of you may know, there are a few keys that are spawning every time. For example, the machinery key for the golden pocket watch quest, which is, I think it's the second quest from Proper, correct me if I'm wrong. It's you will need the machinery key to unlock the door for the pocket watch, right? It spawns in dorms. It has 100% spawn rate, so that key is there every time, unless someone has taken it already before you. So you want to look out for the keys that are 100% spawn rate. You know, as you pass by, just go through the dorms area, try and get the machinery key on your very first few raids, and so you'll have the key down the line when you need it for a quest, if you happen to go dorms, for example. Also the unknown key, which spawns close to the crack house in the bush, closer to the extract more roadblock extract. There's a body in the bush and the unknown key spawns there every time. Once again, if you happen to, there's a spawn right next to it, so if you happen to spawn next to it, even if you don't have the quest, check the body, scoop up that key, put it in the prison pocket, forget about it until you need it. Even though I'm talking about how to get most XP and why you should avoid PvP at any cost when you're trying to grind to that level 42, there is no point of doing any of those things if you're not having fun. At the end of the day, it's a video game that you play after a day of work or a day of school. So just remember to have some fun. It's okay to have some goals, like I have a level 42 goal in the beginning, but it's also okay to do some stuff on the side, like money runs, or just go for the PvP if your heart desires. Always just play for fun. Don't play for the pain like me. I just love the pain, and that's it. And we have finally reached the end of this video. If you're still here, if you're still watching, thank you so much. If you did like the video, I would appreciate a like and a sub. If you did dislike it, just dislike it. No problem there. Let me know what's wrong with it. Any feedback is welcome. Also, let me know in the comments what's your plan for the wipe. And before I go, once again, check me out on Twitch, guys. I'm going to be streaming every day, Monday to Friday, maybe even weekends during the early wipe, and I would appreciate it if you guys would check it out. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Peace.